you no respect for me? How many times have you said this to your children once you told them to do something? Like, well, you're not respecting me? You have no respect for what I told you to do. How many times has God said that to you? So the people of Judah had lost their reverence for God. They no longer feared him, respected him, or honored his authority. They had become spiritually ignorant and foolish. They rejected wisdom, ignored correction, and refused to repent. The Bible tells us that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That comes from Proverbs 9 and 10. Yet that truth no longer mattered to them. So they said, hey, yeah, I'm not following that. That's what they flat out said. They said they were going to be disobedient. I understand what you've done for us, but I'm not going to follow it. So they pursued other gods. They believed lies. They turned away from God's commands. They became comfortable in their sin and treated the Lord casually rather than reverently. Have you ever done that? Have you ever turned away from God's commands and became comfortable in your sin and treated the Lord casually rather than reverently? Like, have you become too familiar with God that you're like, I'm going to do what I want to do and just repent later? Because a lot of times, what do we say? God knows my heart. He, in fact, does know your heart, and he sees what's in your heart, and he is not pleased with it. That's the attitude that we have to look at. So God, he asks a second question. Will ye not tremble in my presence? This is not a question because God lacks information. It is a rhetorical question designed to expose the condition of their hearts. I just said it. God knows what's in your heart. And so he sees the condition of it. So when people say, will God see me? Yeah, he see the inward parts of you that no one else can. He see the hidden thoughts. Well, he hears and he knows the hidden thoughts. He sees your heart and he sees what's in it. He sees the disobedience. He sees the lies. He sees the bitterness. He sees all of that, just as he sees the goodness. So what you think you're covering up is not being covered. The fear of the Lord is not the kind of fear that drives us away from God. It is not terror. It is awe, reverence, trust, submission, and obedience toward our Creator. It is the natural response when finite people recognizing the greatness of an infinite God. So we just came back from vacation, and the one thing that I realized about God and boundaries was when I looked off into the horizon, where you could no longer tell where the sky began and the water ended. It was just a line. And I was like, only God could create such beauty. And I remember looking off further and I saw a flash of lightning. And I was like, wait a minute, did you see that? Because it's dark outside. And when I saw the lightning again, I recorded it because I was like, oh my God. Off in the distance is lightning, but where we're at is not raining. It was nowhere near us. The boundaries that God set. And I just began to thank him that I was able to see his creation in motion. So when I was a minister of movement, there's a song called King of Glory that I believe her name is Tila Robinson sang lead on. In the lyrics, she sings, we reverence you, give glory to your name. And so Revelation 15:4 from the Amplified Classic Edition says, who shall not reverence and glorify your name, O Lord, giving you honor and praise and worship, for you only are holy. All the nations shall come and pay homage and adoration to you for your judgments, your righteous sentences and deeds have been made known and displayed. That's part of Psalm 86 and 9 and verse 10 and Jeremiah 10 and 7. And so I think about me daily, right? Can't talk about anybody else but myself, how I just begin to thank God just for the small things. When I was looking at the waters, when I was recording and I would see the water come on the land and go off the land, I thank God because he's the one that created that boundary. And I thought about a time when I needed God the most and he came through and I just thanked him for just for even the way the water moved. I thanked him for it because those are the little things that we do not appreciate. I thank him. And so to tremble in God's presence is to acknowledge his holiness, his power, and his authority. It is recognizing that he alone is God and that we are accountable to him. We